All right, here we are. I suppose I could move my camera. I got a little out of whack, didn't it? Hey, everybody. What's up? How's it going? Hello. Nice to see everybody. Hello. Let me know if you're here. Thanks for coming on board. This stream, the goal for the stream is that it's going to be a lot less stressful and a lot more laid back than what the last live streams were, because if you were here or if you look back at it, in the last two streams that we did a handful of weeks back, we built the B7, and that's done. One of those streams ended a little abruptly because I used my phone for my camera and that had died. Yeah, those streams are quite frustrating, but that is to be expected with somebody, me, who is building a kit for only the second time. And yeah, hey Tyler, what's up, man? Tyler Aubert's here. He was a huge help for me in trying to figure some different things out. So a couple goals that we have for the stream tonight. One is we're going to watch some race footage together. I've got it all queued up. What's going on, Caden Wiedenhammer? Do I got that right? That's a sick name. No doubt about that. Sick name. I wish my name was Wiedenhammer. It's a little close to Wienerhammer. I'm sure you hear that, though. So our goals for tonight, we're going to watch a little race footage. I want to watch particularly the two race events that I participated in with the B7. And if there's anybody out there experienced with carpet, that can help give me some tips. I can kind of walk through, here's what I was thinking, here's what I was feeling, and then you guys can let me know maybe some different driving techniques, maybe some different things we can try on the radio, etc., that we can try to utilize to be better. Because if I'm not trying to be competitive, then what am I doing here? I'm competitive by nature, and yes, I'm doing it for fun, but I want to compete, and that's just how I am. And I think a lot of you would feel the same way. Super Jason, hey, what's cracking? They get Wiedenhammer wrong? I don't know. I think that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I don't know. So, anyways, I keep getting sidetracked. One of our goals is to watch race footage, which we are going to do together. And then I'm going to do some car prep, and I don't know exactly what that entails. I don't know how frequently I should be doing certain things or what all the things are that I should be checking. My biggest thing that I've ran into so far is ball studs getting loose. So the ball studs on our, I don't know if you'd call them steering blocks. I don't recall what the term would be. But those were getting loose. The lock nuts on the bottoms were getting loose. And the nylon inside those lock nuts, it seemed like it was getting stripped. So I replaced them once or twice, and they got loose again somehow. So I just ended up putting thread locker on there, even though it's a lock nut, I guess. And hopefully that'll be okay. I think we've only done one run since then, but... Combustion RC, Jordan, hey man, yeah, the track surface is wrong, but guess what? It's it's getting cold out, and it's not like you don't know what that's like in the Midwest. Yeah. I'm enjoying 10 scale. It's a lot to learn and a lot to get used to, but I'm not going to lie, I am excited to get back to 8 scale later on too. Baby car season. Yeah, we could call it that. We could call that. So, that's the main thing. I guess I've had 3 events with this thing, so I want to pose the question to you guys first. If it's been 3 race weekends, or 3 race days rather, what are you guys doing? What are you looking for? What are you going over? What's your maintenance schedule over any time frame? Those are the kind of things I need to pick up on and learn and figure out as I go. And then I'll figure out my own system from there, but I don't have a system yet, you know? Still trying to figure it out. As far as I can tell, I think the shocks feel good still. I don't believe anything's been leaking. Yeah, like I said, ball studs. I mean, I know I mentioned it in one of my build videos, but like, dude, the Velcro and like no body pins or anything, like, it's fucking awesome. I wish 8 scale could be like that. I don't know, maybe there's a better way to deal with body clips. Oh, that's another thing that I need to do. I forgot to get it out of the mailbox today. From Dollar Hobbies, I ordered a 28 tooth pinion that I want to try because there's really no straightaway that we're running at this track this weekend and the previous weekend. So I want to give that a shot. I think that'll help us out because I want to also... Okay, so just check over the car. Change the front bulkhead to the 2.5 degree bulkhead. Tyler says, I rebuild my shocks and diffs more than most, but basically every event I will refresh the oil before leaving for the event, and then I check to see if the arms are free and nut and bolt the whole car. Yeah, so I mean, nutting and bolting is something that I'm doing in between rounds, like where I can reach or, you know, where I feel like that makes the most sense. That's just a general rule of thumb for kind of anything, I guess. Yeah, I'm not somebody that's obviously probably going to change out the fluids between every event, just because I'm not going to notice a giant difference as long as the shocks aren't leaking, I guess. Go over the car. And any recommendations, you know, if there's something that, hey, look at this, check this, we'll do that. We'll change this front bulkhead to the 2.5 degree because per the setup sheet that we got from Dustin Spallone, who's a factory team driver, as well as Tyler, it's in the chat here. That is something that he has in there. And that's not something that we got with the car. So I'm curious to see if I notice any difference with that off the bat. Really anything we do so far isn't a major difference that I can feel, but that all comes with time and just getting used to the car, right? So, what's up, Bob's RC? Jordan from Combustion RC says, maintenance, I do shocks every 4 race days, check diff every 2, rebuild every 6 or as needed, and with the ball diff, I check it every race day, replace X-rings every 3 shock rebuilds. Big events, yeah, okay. So those are things I guess we'll figure out over time. Definitely for this coming weekend, I'm not going to do anything crazy. Check hardware every round, yep. Shock fluids, I'll go up or down, yep. Yeah, and I'm not worrying too much about changing fluids for tuning so far, just because I think we have an okay baseline, especially for somebody that knows how to drive. And I don't know how to drive, but if I can just get more wheel time, I'll get used to it. Check bearings for carpet every round. Replace bearings as soon as they get gritty. Sure. Yep. Yeah, and I mean, that's all stuff that makes sense. And I know everybody's going to have their own way, their own methods, their own schedule for doing things. And it's going to take some time for me to figure that out. So yeah, outside of just checking the car over, I want to look at the ESC settings because we're definitely missing a little punch. I notice, and we can watch it here too in a little bit, but once the race starts, when my name is called and I'll go full throttle from a stop, there is a noticeable like little delay there. And once I'm going, I'm fine, but like if I'm going a lot around, you know, a sharp corner and I'm not going very fast, sometimes I feel like I don't have the punch that I want right out of there. So that's where the idea for the 28 tooth pinion comes in, especially because there isn't really much of a straightaway on the layout that we're going to be running on. But I can't help but feel like there's something maybe in the ESC settings. If anybody has a Coyote 10 scale ESC out there, let me know if there's something that I could be looking at. What's going on, Vape Froman? Slipper's a 72 tooth. Wiedenhammer, what is your motor gearing and trimming set at? So, yeah, 72 tooth, 29 pinion currently. Going to swap it out for the 28. Timing, I don't have any timing on here. So we're running the stock class, and as far as I'm aware, we're not allowed to run motor timing, ? Throttle punch set too low. Okay, that could be. That sounds like an ESC thing, potentially. The motor timing looks like, if I'm reading it correctly, it looks like it's at 50, but that's just what it is out of the box. So I'm running an Exalt 17.5 motor. So if anybody's familiar. You're missing the L. No way. The L. I put the K over the L. They're using the same line. You can tell I was in a rush to do everything here. I swear to God, I know how to spell. Like, I write my own video descriptions. AI doesn't do it. I dare you to find a spelling error in any of that. Okay. So what do you guys think? Let me ask you, my lovely people here. Do we want to watch some race footage first or do some car stuff first? What do you guys think? Tyler says motor timing is allowed. The SC just has to stay in blinking mode. Yep, okay. Yep. Okay. So good to know the motor timing. And I don't know exactly what the motor timing even does. I don't know. Like I said, it looks like it's at 50 right now. So I don't know when you change the timing in which way, what the effect is. Like what's going to give me more lower end, what's going to give me more higher end. And I assume that's ultimately what you're doing, right? But we got one vote for race footage first. And for race footage, Yep, I'm on board. So as the car sits right now, it's going to be exactly how it was in the footage that we're going to watch. So we will look at, not yesterday, but the Wednesday before. We did a Wednesday night program over at the Toy Box in New Richmond, Wisconsin. It's very unassuming when you drive up to it, if you've never been. It is literally looks like an old like sheet metal pole shed just in somebody's backyard. But it's pretty cool. They have it set up really nicely in there. Nice carpet track on a subfloor. I believe they just switched it out from AstroTurf. So the carpet's brand new. Nice pit space. They just repainted everything. It's a nice little space. It's only a little over an hour from where I live. I live in Chautauqua, Wisconsin, if anybody's ever heard of it. But yeah. One question I want to ask you guys too, as I'm getting that set up. How often are you guys... Or how many race days are you able to get out of a set of tires? Because I think for the most part, my tires still look pretty good, especially my rear tires. My front tires, maybe, and I mean maybe, on the sides. I can see a slight amount of wear, but I'm not sure. Badger Triple N, hey, heck yeah, man. I'll see you there. Badger Triple N is in the chat here, and he saw a hat that I was wearing in a previous video. So when I'm doing videos or like I'm doing recording with the GoPros while I'm racing, I have to wear. So like I usually just wear like one of the form fit or whatever hats like this is, and then I'll put on a snapback when I go to use my GoPro because then I have something to clip the GoPro mount to. But he noticed I was wearing a Chautauqua Fire Department hat because I'm on the Chautauqua Fire Department, and he said, "Hey, I recognize your hat. I was on that fire department. What was it, the 90s, you said?" It's like, I'm sure you some of the old guys we still have in the department, I'm sure you probably know. So that's really cool. Four or 5 weekends, become practice. Yep, okay. 3 or 4. Okay, so I mean, really anywhere, let's say between 3 to 5, depending on how we're running. The sidewalls of my front tires could probably be re-glued. There was only 1 layer done on them, and I've had guys tell me like you'll want to do like a couple, 2, 3 layers. Couple, 2, 3. Goodness gracious. All right, we're having fun here. Okay, let's watch some footage. And, oh, my lamp, or my light. Need to move the mounting screws so that they're a little more separated by a couple millimeters because it keeps trying to fall. All right, there we go. All right, here we go. Heat 1. So let's do Heat 1 from, last Wednesday night at the Toy Box. Uno momento. It was working a second ago. Let's refresh it. Well, there it goes. Okay. Oh, they make a hat for the GoPro. I use one on pheasant hunting. Works pretty good. Interesting. All right. So here's the start. So this is the first heat. Really botched that one. I think this is right after I turned my dual rate and my servo speed back up too, because I had turned those both down when I was running at Dollar Hobbies the week and a half previous to this. It really took me a hot minute to figure out how to clear that double in that back left corner. I mean, the one thing I'll say about this car, though, despite any challenges I personally have driving it, is, yeah, man, the thing is freaking planted. It really is. Like, it will go where you want it to go. So somebody who's a much better driver than I am, they drove this car in between one of the rounds at this event, and it was cool to actually see the thing do what it's supposed to do. And we did get last in this heat. I guess as expected, more or less. One thing that, so Christian Franchek, who, if anybody runs around the area, they might be familiar with him. He's fairly new, but he's really good for being pretty new. So he's the one that drove the car. He said, hey, you have like no brakes. And I really don't. And I notice I do take more time to set up for the corners than other people. For that reason, I really don't have any brakes. So we need to add some brakes in the ESC. It is twitchy. It's absolutely twitchy. The car is running off of a setup sheet given to me by a really good monster truck buddy of mine, Dustin Spallone, who's a factory team driver. He said, run this. It's the best thing I've ever run on carpet. And so I decided to take the added challenge of going for that instead of going by the kit setup, which I recommend everybody do, is run the kit setup first, especially if you're newer like me, but I took on that challenge for better or worse. It's not particularly easy for somebody like me to drive. Yeah, this first heat was definitely a struggle. That last corner before the loop there off to the left, before you take the two 90-degree turns, I should have gone a lot more outside coming into that. Set myself up better and be able to carry more corner speed. And that was something else I was doing a lot too, is I kept cutting these corners a little too early and hitting the markers. Just trying to stay out of everybody's way and make laps. Maybe turn the DR. Yeah, so I had the dual rate at 80 going into this event, and I ended up turning it back up to 90, and that did help me a lot as far as mid-corner goes. Entry of the corner is fine, exit of the corner is fine, but I lost all corner speed in the middle, and adding some of that dual rate back definitely helped a little bit. Yeah, throttle control is fine. I don't feel like I have any issues there. Other than that, missing that like initial little burst. Yeah, Chance, I haven't broken anything on mine yet either. After two events. So that was heat one, And I don't know if my fat head's gonna block this in the video here in a second, but obviously we got last, and we finished down 1 lap from the person in front of us, so not ideal. Our fastest lap is, I mean, you know, pretty far off of where we could be. The one thing about this event that we were doing is all of the 17.5s were together. There wasn't split for intermediate or expert. Everybody was together. This Saturday, there might be a split. Fingers crossed. Hopefully there will be an intermediate. I know they've had that in the past on Saturday events at the Toy Box, but so we'll see. I've never done a points race at the Toy Box, and I don't worry too much about points because it's not possible for me to make every single points race. It's as much as I'd like to. So we'll see what that looks like. So that was the result of the first heat. Pete, are you going to be racing at the Toy Box? Yes. So that's one thing we're doing in this stream is we're just trying to go over the car and you know, prepare for this Saturday at Toy Box, I guess, more or less. Where, like I said, I'm hoping there will be an intermediate class. We will see. Let's go over to Heat 2. Let's see. Oh, actually, let me do this. This is where Christian drove the car and was giving me some advice on what he thought. And so right here, right there he was adding brakes is what he was doing. And he said, I'll put it on the transmitter for now. We'll change it back, but you're going to want to do this on the speed controller later. So I don't know what a good brake setting is to throw in there. If anybody has any recommendations, let me know. He said he noticed the same kind of little throttle delay that I saw, but maybe it wasn't as major as what I thought it was. I mean, regardless of who's driving it, it looks like it does handle well. I mean, and actually, this was being done between the second heat and the main, so I didn't make any changes because I didn't want to throw out any level of comfort that I already had with it. Are you running brakes, or drag brake? I don't think I'm running drag brake. Honestly, that's not something I've even looked at. Brakes, I know I need to add. I don't know what I have in the speed controller, but I definitely don't have enough. And that's one thing that I noticed too, is I was giving myself a lot of time coming up to the corners. I was just letting off or stabbing the brakes, but I didn't really have anything there. Oh, nope, this is the second heat. Yep, my bad. Second heat went better. Not great. We definitely started a little better. Except for that. Don't pay attention to that. This is a lot more nerve-wracking. Granted, I've only been able to do the 1/8 scale event, but this is a lot more nerve-wracking than that 1/8 scale event that I was able to do. 100%. There's just such a smaller margin of error. Yeah, so at this point we haven't had any marshalling, which is definitely an improvement. And I know the lines that I need to take. It's just not always easy to hit those lines. When I could do good stuff, sometimes it felt like luck. But like here, you can obviously see that we're getting that double in the back left corner down figured out. It's definitely a little challenging with that large roller before it. Thanks, Elliot. This is a fun layout, though. You know, you got a little bit of everything. You got some jumps, you got some bumps. Like, you really want to hit your lines to make a fast lap. It's, for being a smaller space, I can really appreciate, you know, how they did this. I think it's going to be the same layout they used this Saturday, I want to say. Actually, I'm not sure, because I think they raced monster trucks after this, maybe? I'll have to ask Christian what layout they ended up running last night. Yeah, like, you can clearly see that we're doing a lot better on this one than the last one. I definitely need to add brakes so I can kind of run towards the corners or towards certain obstacles a little bit harder and then just kind of stab the brakes right before. That roller's a good example, that big roller. Because in hindsight, I should have kind of not completely cleared it if I could. Just kind of hop over it and kind of hit the downside a little bit. Sometimes I struggled that corner with the rumble strip. Sometimes I struggled to remember to slow down enough to cut more to the inside of it. I just kept going too fast through there. I don't know why. I mean, that one was good, but... Whoop, whoop. Yeah, so there's definitely a higher level of comfort here than there was in the first heat. But, with that being said, I wish that comfort came earlier. I felt really... I don't want to say good, but I felt the best I had felt with this car. No, I don't even want to say that. The A-Main that we did at Dollar Hobbies and Intermediate, which was our first event with this thing, I felt really good in that main, man. I held third through pretty much the whole race. So you can see here we put up one additional lap over our first effort in Heat 1. I think our fastest lap was just a hair slower, though. And, I mean, you can see, you know, Tony that's in here, 11.9. I mean, he's 2 seconds up on me. I don't understand how that's even possible. Jordan, so I've only ran touring car on carpet, but ran off-road on sugared clay. And I like 30% drag brake at 80% power, and never even got into the brakes on the controller that worked. Yeah, and there's a couple other guys that have suggested, hey, try 20 or 30% on drag brake. So maybe tonight I'll turn this thing on, plug the tuner in. Well, no, actually I can't because I'm using my phone for the camera, and it's a Bluetooth tuner. So I'll do that later on. So let's go ahead and go to the main. I had a couple buddies come here this Wednesday night just to watch and hang out. One of them, my buddy Opie, this guy right here. I was giving him some shit. And here he is rolling a sprint car. Here he is rolling a monster truck. But I pointed out that I'm in the C-Main, and I told him if he was still driving sprint cars, he would also be in the C-Main if he didn't roll over first. And I had to throw those clips in there and made sure that he had to watch this video. So we'll watch this main, we'll dig into the car a little bit, and then if there's enough people around that want to check it out, we can watch some of the racing from Dollar Hobbies, which was the first event I did with this thing, the only other one I did. So we were calm and cool at the start of the main here. No marshalling. We're minding our own. Doing what we got to do. You needed to be 1 or 2 in this race to bump up to the B main. I wasn't expecting to, but Jeremy, yeah, dude, I 100% agree. 100%. I think if he wasn't in the process of moving to Racine, Wisconsin, I think we could get him there. But maybe once he's there and settled, we can get him something and he can find a carpet track. Get him an 8-scale car. There's a couple 8-scale tracks that he's not super far from, probably. Yeah, I was a lot more smooth. I was a lot more consistent in this race. I don't know if consistent is necessarily the right word, but I stayed out of trouble. I didn't need to get marshaled nearly as much. I think we have the ability to be good. We just need the time to figure it out. And I've had people in comments and videos say you should have gone 21.5. And I struggled with that a little bit, and I'll tell you why I didn't go 21.5. My buddy Dustin saw the video of me doing the 1/8 scale race we did. He said, for how well you handled that for your first event, I think you'd be just fine with 17.5. And I like a challenge, and maybe it makes videos more interesting. I don't know, but so me and this green and yellow car in front of me, we were pretty close together most of this race. And I honestly, I felt like I was the faster of the two of us. And then I take him out and let him get back in front of me, because that's what you're supposed to do. Don't be a dickhead. Use good race etiquette. I really felt like I was the faster car. Yeah, I couldn't put it together, which was fine. We weren't fighting for a bump spot anyway. We were fighting for third, I think. Was it third? I think it was third. And here I'm getting lapped. One of the faster guys in the class broke in the second heat, so he was in our C main. And he did make it back up to the A main. And then I got in his way. So by me trying not to be a dickhead, I was a dickhead and still got into him anyway. And there's our tone. What a way to finish it. Just blast it right into the damn backside of that ramp. Love that for me. Yeah, so 16 laps here. I didn't catch the result of the last one. Was that the same? No, actually, yeah, that's going to be more laps because this was, I think, a minute longer. So we were down 3 laps from that fast guy. But otherwise, outside of him, I was on the same lap as everybody else that would have been in the C main, probably. So I mean, that's not nothing, I guess. And within a few seconds of them too. So to be within a few seconds, really, I was within a few seconds of bumping up. So that's where it pays to not crash. Don't get marshaled. Don't drive like a dickhead. Just be chill, I guess. All right, let's catch up on this here. Zachary Kohler. Loving the videos. You're super good for just getting started with two-wheel. We'll say you can definitely open up your quarters in that sweeper. Keep your corners. Yep, I agree. I agree. I appreciate the kind words. We're doing what we can over here. I mean, the main goal with this channel is to just try to have fun and ultimately try to help people in the same position that I'm in once I can kind of get things more figured out. To go along with that, I believe as of, I think it's tomorrow, the channel will be monetized, which is really, really cool. So I don't know what that actually means. For me, it probably doesn't really mean anything. It might mean like I make 30 cents from a video. But it's not nothing. And every cent that could potentially come from YouTube is going to go back into the race program, back into making videos. And I want to do some really cool things for other people through this, I don't know, medium eventually. That's the ultimate goal. But that's what we're looking at. So I guess for now we'll start tearing into the car a little bit. Start working on changing this bulkhead. And then we can go back to some more race footage if anybody's still sticking around. So who all out there has a B7? I know Shantz does. Who else? Jeremy, J-Dog. I know you're running, well, I'm pretty sure you're running a B7, or is it a 6.4? Is it even a Team Associate? I'm just talking out of my ass at this point. Alright, what do I need to do? First, I need to remove the bumper. Peep the custom chassis protector, if you haven't seen it. Oh, I should probably take this thing off the video, shouldn't I? Let's change OBS here. Uno momento. There we go. There we go. Hey, we got it. Sorry. First day on YouTube. Okay, 6.4. Okay. So we'll take our front bumper off. B7 or what's left of one. Why, what'd you do to it? Did you butcher our boy? I should have just gotten my electric driver out, but I figured I'm probably not dealing with too many screws. Change the bulkhead, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. And I don't know if Tyler's still here or whatever, if anybody can shed some light. I know a lot of guys run the 2.5 front bulkhead. I'm just doing it because that's on the setup sheet that I have, and I'm wondering if, or I'm hoping that's just going to jive better with the other setup things that I have going on here up front. So, if somebody wants to give me the idea, or I guess kind of what that does for me, because my understanding is that it's for the kick-up, right? I don't know what a lot of setup things are, and doing setup things kind of makes me nervous because I'm afraid that if I change one thing, maybe it'll, like certain aspects will be more positive, and then it might affect other things negatively, you know? I'd love to try my XB2D on carpet just to see how it would be, but it's currently a street stock, so I can race while I'm out. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the dirt stuff is so cool, though. I just don't... I mean, we don't really have much as far as oval goes around my area, but I just don't think I'd have the interest in it that I would in anything off-road, to be totally honest. Well, bear with me while I get my 0.5. Okay, we got our tiny driver and some thread lock because I believe we're going to need that. So I think I really only need to take the hinge pin out of the front arms, and then that should allow me access to the bulkhead. Alright, let's see. One hinge pin. And our arm is free. Cool. That's easy enough. I can manage that. An increase in kick-up angle softens the front end, increases total caster, typically makes it easy to drive, and you gain a bit of steering mid-corner. Those are both things that I need. How wonderful for me. And I can only assume that is why it seems like most people run it. And particularly for the setup that I have, that should hopefully be a pretty decent help. I'm hoping it's at least noticeable, if anything. Yeah, so Combustion RC there. Check out his channel. Go subscribe to it. Currently, they're doing a lot of dirt oval stuff, and they just made a huge expansion on their track, and it's going to be really cool to see them run on that. It's going to be super rad. I would love to give oval a try. I just doubt I'd have the passion for it that I do just regular off-road stuff. Okay. So we have access to a bulkhead. We got the front hinge pins out of the front arms. So I should be able to just unscrew the 2 screws for that bulkhead. Speaking of dirt oval, one of my favorite YouTubers, at least for RC, Ryan Styles Harris, put out a video today where he took a brand new Losi 22S, was it the 22 Sprint or whatever it's called? Literally took it out of the box at the track, never practiced with it, I don't think. And he went out there and he smoked everybody. Not that he has no oval experience. I don't think he does it necessarily regularly, but he does run the Chili Bowl and does pretty well there and everything. So, but it's a good video. I've learned a lot watching his stuff. I'd love to see more of that style of content, especially when it comes to racing. I really like the way he does his videos. Okay, so there's our bulkhead out. Okay, now here's the question that I have. And maybe this is a Tyler question. What way does this need to go? If I have the car sitting on the rear wing, do I want to be able to read it 2.5 degrees? Do I want the plus towards the front of the car? I think so, but need some clarity. Need a little bit of clarity there. I mean, that would make sense to me at least. I hear my wife yelling at one of the animals upstairs. Plus towards, okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I just need to remember which of the 2 holes that went into that. Oh, I see. Okay, we're good. And luckily these don't need thread lock because we're going through the chassis but into plastic. Where'd my other screw go? Ah! Nope, no. Oh, there it is. These are all the same size anyway, right? So it doesn't matter which one I use, it looks like. Yeah. Yeah. This is a lot less frustrating than the last time that you guys were here. Man, building this thing, there were a couple parts that were super frustrating. And one of those was the front aluminum steering rack and bell cranks that we did. If you were here and you recall how frustrating that was, and it took me like 3 hours just to figure that out. But it's quite loose. When we went to our first race with this car, realized that one of the bell cranks, a bearing had fallen out of it. But even with putting that bearing in there that was supposed to be there from the start, there's still a lot of play in the steering assembly, and it looks like it is in the steering assembly, not in the ball studs, or at least not anything that's outside of, you know, that steering assembly area, I guess. Words are hard, guys. I grew up in a little tiny ass town called Weyerhaeuser, Wisconsin. Our school ended up closing because we just didn't have any kids. Therefore, we lost all of our funding. So, welcome to farm town America, I guess. Okay, so we have our new 2.5 degree front bulkhead on. So this did come with new set screws to throw in there. I don't know what the function is that you'd call it. Hinge pin stabilize. I don't know. I don't know what you call them. I'll swipe these hinge pins off with a microfiber with nothing on them, Tyler. No, nothing on these hinge pins, I'm telling you. Weyerhaeuser Equity. Weyerhaeuser Equity. Is that the sand plant? Is that what they call that sand plant that they built right there, east of the school? I had a friend named Julie who used to live right across the street from that sand plant. Weyerhaeuser Equity. But that's how I ended up in the town that I am now. My school closed down, and we combined school districts with the town of Shitek. Cenex had a feed mill heart. Oh, okay. So I worked at the Cenex gas station when I was like 15. But that would have been after the feed mill was tore down and after the hardware store closed. I don't know if you would know or remember Gene Hawes that owned the antique store. I'm really good friends with one of his grandsons. He was in my wedding. Let's see. Okay. So we're going to put our hinge pins back in here. And the screws that secure them. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this is going to drive with this. So I'll see if I can find any like throttle and brake settings or whatever to maybe try to help out. But I feel like that's not going in as far as it could. Not as far as the other one. Whoa. Now we just pushed it through the other side. Let's even you out a little bit there, partner. What does everybody out there do for work? Let's get to know each other a little bit. What does everybody out there do for a living? How do you pay your bills? How do you buy RC tires every 3 to 5 races? Me personally, I work for a software company called First Do, and we make software for fire departments, EMS, police, which is really cool because I'm on a like I said earlier, the Shitek Fire Department. So that's really rad to kind of do things within that field. It's a lot more meaningful. J-Dog Machinist. Okay. I got a few friends that are machinists. They seem to like it. Not smart enough to do that. I was barely smart enough to put this together, and even then I needed help. So, thanks to good people like you, here she is. So now we need to... I wonder if I shouldn't take the bottom of the shocks out. Custom cabinetry, okay. Very nice, very nice. Tyler's custom cabinetry. Zachary, welder, fabricator, machinist, building maintenance, working hydraulic, agriculture. Very nice. Okay, that's rad. A lot of good trades. You'll love to see it. Jordan used to be a VW technician. I know he's a father of 5 now, though. Got a sugar mama. Yeah, man. My wife's a nurse, but I still got to work. A lot of good stuff. Father of 5, though. That's got to be a much harder job than any of us could comprehend, unless anybody else in here has 5 kids. I don't have any at this point yet, but we got 3 animals, and sometimes that's good enough. So for the sake of making sure these arms are free when I put these set screws into the bulkhead where the hinge pins are, I'm going to remove these shocks here and then just make sure this is free. I don't really understand exactly what these set screws are for, because honestly I'm not sure that they were even touching the hinge pin previously, so I don't know. Jordan, if I work full-time, I'd have to make more than I made as a tech by $10K a year to cover. Yeah, dude, that's the thing. It's crazy. I mean, especially when you have 5 kids, obviously, but like even with 1 kid, sometimes it just makes more sense and it saves money just for somebody to stay home. It's just wild. So like, you know, if you're somebody that has family that can help you out with that, you know, on a day-to-day basis, you got it made, but not everybody's that lucky, for sure. Being a VW tech is way easier. I had a couple Volkswagens. I had, I think, a 2004 Jetta that got crashed. That's another story. Then I had a 2011 Jetta also. I really like the Jettas. Those 2.5 inline 5s are great. So I've got my thread lock here on these set screws. I'm going to use such a small amount. It doesn't need much. I'm not even sure how super necessary these are, to be honest. Oh, actually, I wanted to go into the other side. Let's do that. There we go. Super Jason, I work in the family business and construction, do commercial wall coverings for hotels and offices. Very nice. All right, cool. Yeah, it's good to be involved on the commercial side of things, too, I'm sure. So you can really charge them the money. I always thought it'd be fun to go out as something like that and like do bids. All right, thread lock. Poor man's Lambo straight pipe the 2.5, huh? Dang, that's wild. All right, so I got it. The set screws are just hardly finger tight. And I mean, there's no forward or backward movement on them. Everything's moving freely under its own weight. So I mean, I think honestly, I think that's good enough. I don't know. I mean, because from building it, I know if I made it even a little bit tighter, it's good there, but then it would bind. So that's where it's going to be. We'll put that shock back on, and I guess I'll just feel this shock. I mean, yeah, it feels like a shock. I guess. I don't know. I don't necessarily know what I'm trying to feel, or like if I could even tell if there's air in it or anything like that, but you know, we've only had 2 events on this thing anyway, and I haven't seen any signs of them leaking. So, I mean, I guess they should be okay. I think. I hope. If there's any RC guys out there that ever want to join me on a joint stream or anything like that in the future, feel free. I think it'd be fun to do this maybe weekly or bi-weekly or something along those lines. Alright, so since you guys know, I have 2 events with this thing. And if you were me, what would you be looking for? I mean, obviously we're making sure things are tight, things are straight and whatnot. But as far as just general maintenance goes, what are you doing after 2 events, if anything? I know everybody's a little bit, I know everybody's a little bit different, of course, but I want to keep this thing tight and right as much as possible because I want to make sure that the only thing I need to improve on is my driving. And that's about it. Ah, Jordan, good to know. I might be looking at getting off around then or sometime after. We'll set something up in the future, though, for sure. 'Cause I know YouTube has that feature now where you can do collaborated videos, and I think they can do that with streams, too. So that'd be cool. But yeah, it wouldn't take much to throw you on a Discord call or something and then get your video in here with me. You'll have some fun that way. We'll make something happen. When are you coming back to the Midwest, though? Is that happening anytime soon? I feel this shock again. I mean, that also feels like a shock, so I don't know. I don't know, guys. All right. The set screws. 2 more of those. Okay. I'm excited to see how this thing's going to drive with this different front bulkhead. Like, there's you know, there's got to be a reason most guys, it seems like, end up putting that on right away. It's like one of the first things they change. Based on what Tyler said, hopefully that'll do it for us to have something at least that's noticeable that we can sink our teeth into. After we do this, we can watch a little bit more racing here. Alrighty. Yeah, Kentucky, right? Yeah, who says Kentucky's in the Midwest? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I get offended when people say Missouri's in the Midwest. You kidding me? Ah, so okay, so I can kind of see a little bit of where that added kick-up is because the set screws that go through the bulkhead to the hinge pins, the ones on the front sink in a lot deeper than the ones that are towards the back of the car. So now I kind of have a visual understanding of what that difference is. So the front bulkhead is essentially like if you had A and B blocks in the front, like you do in an 8-scale buggy. That's how you're adjusting that, as opposed to pills. That makes sense. Oklahoma, that's what it was. Yeah, I'm going to definitely try as much as my monster truck schedule allows to be able to hit a couple MNRC events. That would be really freaking cool. It'd be really good for networking and for videos and just having fun. I wish I had a camper that I could take to events. That's something that we discussed maybe looking into next year. So we can use it for that and just do more camping and hiking trips and that sort of thing. Ooh. There's a little bit more play front to back in this arm than I'd like. There's definitely more than there was on the other side. But it also looks like that hinge pin isn't in there as much as it could be. Let's see if I can just shove it a little. Okay. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Announcements. I like announcements. Spill the beans right here on the stream. Come on, Jordan. Let us know what's cooking for next year. Tyler, MNRC is where it's at. No higher level of competition. And you know what, man? The way I look at it, too, is... I mean, granted, everybody's better than me. But you can't get to other people's level if you don't run with people at that level. I'm a big wrestling fan. CM Punk's my guy. I mean, that's something that he's said a lot. He usually references hockey, but says, you know, you can't play at the level of a team better than you if you don't play against that team. You have contracts? What the hell? This sounds pretty damn official, man. And here I am just winging it. No contracts. Maybe I need to back these set screws out a little. Try to get that hinge pin back out. Oh, actually, maybe not even get it out. Just maybe one of those set screws is just a little tight. So nothing in the arms was binding. However, it had some of that front to back play on that one arm. So maybe that's why, I guess. Yeah, maybe I can get good by next summer and I can buddy up with Tyler and be like, hey, is Associated looking for any team drivers? No, that's probably not going to happen, but those are, you know, things like that are definitely a goal in the future, 100%. 100%. Okay, that might be what I need. Let me just double check this one screw. Yeah, we'll go back to the race footage here in a minute. Yeah, but I guess I'll throw it out there again. 2 events. What are you guys doing for maintenance? I know Tyler's changing shock oils. I'm not gonna get that deep into it, at least not yet at this point. Maybe later on, where like if I do it enough and I get familiar enough with the car, then that's something I can be like, oh yeah, I can feel the shock oils aren't where I want to be. I can tell I haven't changed them, but it's going to be a while before I get to that point, right? So let's try to throw these set screws back in here. Oh no, where did they go? Oh no, I forgot to put the shim in the bulkhead. Tyler, how important is that front shim in the bulkhead? That's a question. Actually, I can probably sneak it in there without taking the arms out. Let's do that. I just got to remember which way it went. I guess I can check the manual. Let's see. These are things that I can't remember while I'm jibber-jabbering with you guys. So that's on me. RC10B7 manual. Yeah, because per the setup sheet, we're just running the one shim in the front bulkhead, which I think is also what the manual says to do. Pretty sure. I just got to remember what the correct way is that it goes. Let's see, I got the manual pulled up here. Okay, so that little tab faces the back. Okay. All right, I think that's pretty clear. So I think I can just back those screws out a tiny bit and just shove it in there, I guess. Changes the roll center and what is opinion the most sensitive area on the car. Definitely should put that back in if that's what you... Yeah. Yep. 100%. And I mean, it's not... It doesn't seem like I have to tear the whole damn thing apart again to throw it in there. So I'll loosen these screws up. I think I should be able to just slide it back in there and tighten those screws up again. You know, maybe I could use my electric driver. One thing I'm definitely nervous about with this car, every so often, is bending a chassis. I know there's some guys that have done that. I don't think I'm a terrible enough driver that that's a huge concern, but I know people have done it. Alright, can I slide this back in there? Yes, I think we can. Oh, yep, there we go. Perfect. Alright, I'll cinch that back down. Tyler, I can only assume you're running somewhere this weekend. Where are you going to be at? I think I saw, if I'm not mistaken, one of the last times you ran, or one of the last times I talked to you, you were running the, what was it, the Masses of Dirt at Trackside. Yeah, Jordan, it sounds official. I'm hoping someday I can find something official, but we're a long ways from that. I'd like to find some sort of partnership or sponsorship or something that, you know, a lot of it comes from the channel. So I talked about suction stickers in the past, and they said, hey, like, the one video you did, you mentioned us, like, we got a ton of orders, and like, that's what I love to hear. It just helps people out. Oh, Tyler's going to Toy Box. Hell yeah. No power tools, Dale. Race hell, praise Dale. Word up to the big dog. Okay. Oh yeah, back to the set screws. So I got a little bit more back and forth play on this one side than I'd like. The other side is none. So I don't know if that maybe has anything to do with those set screws. Let's see. Well, sweet. That'll be fun to run with you, Tyler. It just gives me more reason to hope there's an intermediate class, but nope, there's still back and forth play on the one arm. But on the other side, I didn't have any. So the question is, why is that? Jordan, it does help that I ran for years and gained momentum just by being at the tracks and helping the new guys. Or anyway, yeah, 100%, right? Like that's what it's all about. And I would like if I'm some sort of brand or manufacturer, whatever. Like my main priority maybe isn't necessarily getting first all the time, but it's just being a good representative. I think that's gonna just be worth its weight in gold. We'll get everything cinched back together here once I can just make sure. Oh, there we go. I think we got it. Hey-o. yeah, those hinge pins are really sensitive to just the right amount of tension from those set screws. But we got rid of our back and forth play by kind of pushing back on the arm and then putting those set screws down a little bit, and everything still moves freely, so we're good. 24 people. Hey, oh, hey everybody. Really appreciate you guys watching. It's super rad. Super, super rad. Really appreciate it. I am surprised at the amount of engagement and everything that we had on the first live streams we did on here, so it made me feel good that I could do more live streams in the future such as this and just hang out, interact with you guys, give everybody a place to just sit down, talk some RC, and try to help a noob out, because that's ultimately what I am here. So I'll put the front bumper back on. Then we'll get the bottom of the shock reattached 2mm. And then I'll clean the car up, I guess. I just got some rubbing alcohol, just get the scuffs off. I want this thing to look good. If I'm going to suck, damn it, this thing is going to look good while it sucks. I definitely have worked pretty hard on the branding and just the aesthetics. EMS call. Let me make sure this isn't serious and I don't need to leave. But one of the main missions here was the front bulkhead, and that's done. Incident details. Nope, that's not what I need. Where's the narrative? It's a lot harder to open this up. Comments, that's what I need. It's a lot harder to read the stuff on a watch. 30-year-old male with headache since about 4 p.m. believed to be due to trauma and stress. I think the ambulance can handle that. Jordan, for sure, I will say it does help to podium often, even at a club level. Sure. I mean, it's nice. I'm sure it's nice to have those podium pictures. And honestly, my biggest shorter term goal that I have is to be in a podium picture. I like, honestly, that's a big thing that I want right now. I'm chasing that podium picture, and I think we would have got one at Rick's Hobby Farm, that one event we did, because we got second in both of our heats, and I think we definitely had a shot at first had the event not got rained out before the main. I want my car looking amazing as I tumble off the track. Yes, sir. That Marshall's going to be damn impressed by how that car looks. Maybe not how it drives, but it's going to look fucking great. Chance, I'd love... So I recently turned on the community. Just not that I really expected people to use it much, but I turned on the community, the YouTube community. So I believe if you go to my channel, you should be able to find that somewhere, and you can make a post. I'd love to see pictures of your car. And actually, that goes for anybody else too. If you guys could go to the community tab on my page, on my YouTube channel, post pictures of your cars. I'd love to see them. It'd be cool to get some submissions, and we can look at those in a future stream, or if we get a few people posting right away, maybe we could even do that tonight. I'd love to see everybody's rides, no matter what it is, basher, racer, crawler, whatever. I'd love to see it. Alright, we'll get the shock attached, make sure everything still feels smooth, clean everything up a little bit. You can watch a little bit more footage, guys. Doesn't need to be a super long stream like those streams I did for the build of this car. They're like 4 or 5 hours. That was a rough time. Yep. Everything feels even. Everything feels good. Nothing in the rear that I needed. The only thing that I've done in the rear at the suggestion of somebody at our first event with this thing was to take out the gray springs and throw yellow in there. Almost everybody I've talked to says the B7 needs stiffer rear springs. And I think I noticed a good difference. I missed the W in Street Stock Tuesday in a close race by 1.3, kind of like my 8 scale luck last month when I was in first and stripped a wheel. And that's tough. Luckily, I've been able to finish every race that I've been in so far, luckily, but obviously that kind of thing's inevitable, right? I have not gotten my 28 tooth pinion out of the mailbox yet, because that's something else I could do. Maybe I could bug the wife. Let me send a text to the wife and see if maybe she could do that. could you do me a giant favor, and I will love you forever and ever, even though I'm already legally obligated to, but I'm not going to put that part in here. Could you get me the small package, giggity, out of the mailbox? Parentheses, not my small package. Okay. We're having fun here. That's great. And you can probably hear my dickhead dog barking also. All right. One of the coolest tricks I learned was with these black scuffs you get on the car, which I assume is mostly just rubber from other cars. Is the rubbing alcohol to get everything off and clean it. That's one of the coolest things. Man, I love a clean car. And when it comes to 8 scale, I'm going to spend so much time just trying to get them clean. So a little rubbing alcohol, a rag, gets all the black scuffs off. Well, for the most part, at least. May not get every little dot. I guess if it's set in there, it's scratched up or whatever. But, so I'll show you on this one here. Maybe. So I don't know how well you can see it, but rubbing alcohol. And of course it dries up pretty quick if you don't use it right away. Yeah, and this one's kind of set in there. Oh, never mind. I guess I could scrape it off. Look at that. Yeah, really any mark that, for the most part, you're going to have on your wheels, where there's spots that aren't white, it's really just on the surface. So, there we go. Good as new. Good as new for that. And we'll do the same on the back tires. Love when things look good. Dude, October was rough. That happened in 8 scale, and the week before I was 6 in the A at Chill on the Hill, which is a big off-road race they do in Lake Superior, Wisconsin. Or I guess technically Duluth, Minnesota, but they're right next to each other. Got up to first, made one bobble back to third, gaining back on second, lost the left rear entirely. Yikes, man. Especially to drive all that way and kind of have the class you're most excited for, I would think, end that way. That's a bummer, but as they say, that's racing. Oh, that was in short course, not 8 scale. Okay. My wife just responded. Ugh. That's what she said. Very endearing. She says she loves me. I don't know how true that is. I wouldn't blame her if she didn't, to be honest. Let's see. Yeah, guys. ESC settings are not going to happen on the stream because I have to use my phone, which is currently being used as a camera because it's the Bluetooth tuning module I have to plug in. I think my lovely wife is going outside to grab that pinion gear. I'll throw that on here real quick. So we're going to go, so like I said earlier, we have the 72 tooth spur. And we're going to throw, we have a 29 pinion on. We're going to take that off and throw the 28 tooth on here. So let's take that off right now. Uh-oh, she's coming down the stairs. Everybody hide. All right. Throw this back in here so I don't lose it. Oh, actually, no. I'm going to do the trick that so far the couple times I've needed to use it has worked really well. And you've probably heard of this, but in case you haven't, if you want to put a particular spur gear in your car, put one tooth count higher than what you're going to put on there and make the mesh super tight. Take it off and then put on the one that's one tooth less. Your hair looks great.
You're lying because you're on camera.
I hope you guys heard that. I was just trying to... Yeah.
Oh, man.
I hope you guys heard that I was trying to be a good husband and tell my beautiful wife she looks great because she got her hair done. And then she told me I was lying because we're doing this. So that's not true. Fresh from Dollar Hobbies, Factory Team 28 tooth pinion gear. All right. So I will loosen my motor a tad. Ugh. Try to slide it in. Get a super tight mesh with the 29 that's already on there. I think I got it. Then I'll just kind of leave it. Then I'll slide the 29 off. Then I should be able to just slide the 28 right on there and the mesh should be good. Wow, she sounds like Kelly. Funny you mentioned that. She is Kelly. Not your Kelly, but it's funny how we love our truck classes here in the States and you doesn't. Yeah, but I think a lot of that, though, revolves around like the type of racing that's popular in Europe, right? Like they don't have any short course. You know, I'd say probably their biggest off-road of anything that they do is rally, right? I mean, and there's some like pretty obscure examples that don't necessarily fall in line with that, but you know, monster trucks. Not that I like intentionally use that for an example for everything because I work with, you know, actual monster trucks. But monster truck RC racing is pretty popular here, all in all, and it's fairly consistent. It's not always the biggest group of people that do it, but it, you know, you have Losi involved. J Concepts is Jason is huge on the monster truck side of things as far as RC. All right. I don't remember who taught me the trick to use the one tooth higher pinion gear to set your mesh, but it fucking works, man. Every time. Every time. So, I will cinch my motor screws back down. Make sure those are nice and tight. I don't think those need to be 3-thread locked. But I'm going to cinch them down real tight. And then I'll make sure I'm on the flat part of the shaft here where my set screw needs to go. All right. It runs more weird formula buggies that are like F3 with a ton of... Oh, yeah. I don't remember what those are called, but I know what you're talking about. Is crawling a thing in the EU? If it is, it's not very popular. To my knowledge. That's a good question, though. Yeah, I mean, short course really blew up because it was a really... I remember... Like, I was kind of into RC a little bit back when short course started to become a thing, like with the Slash, and there was a huge boom, obviously, for short course stuff, right? And I think a lot of it, or some that Traxxas was huge into it. Like, obviously, they came out with the Slash. The Jenkins brothers, that they were running Traxxas, or maybe still do in some sort of capacity. They were driving the Traxxas trucks, and I think Traxxas actually, I want to say, owned them. I could be wrong, but obviously they also had the Torque series. I think it was Traxxas Off-Road Championship. And man, I think Traxxas is one of those manufacturers that if they got back into racing, like competitive racing, you know, like they did back in their earliest days, they were a big race brand. There were a couple of those really old Traxxas buggies that were represented at the Associated Vintage Championships, I think. And like, if we had more of those brands like a Traxxas, I feel like that was involved with racing to some level. I mean, all that could do is help. Like, can you imagine Dakota Fenn going out there with a Traxxas car and winning an IFMAR championship or something fucking crazy like that? How rad would that be? I know I just sold my solid axle monster trucks and my X-Max to fund racing. People have been wanting Traxxas for a very long time to come out with a solid axle monster truck. Because, I mean, and they also have, like, the Bigfoot licenses and all that, too. Like, they're really him-hawing over it. But Traxxas, I think, is only going to manufacture vehicles that are going to appeal to the casual. And realistically, if they make a 10th or 8th scale solid axle monster truck similar to the Losi, they're probably going to charge more than what somebody with that audience is. Because, yeah, somebody's going to spend a lot with an X-Max, but look at what you can do with it. You know what I mean? Like, you're not jumping a solid axle truck over a house. I'm not saying I wouldn't try. But that's just the reality of the situation, I think. All right. Set screw on the pinion. Locked in. Let's double check the mesh. I think the mesh is good. Yeah, I mean, on both the Tekno and on this, the 8 scale, and this, I mean, yeah, the one higher tooth count to set the mesh is good. And I mean, at some point, you know, obviously I won't need to do that, and I'll be comfortable and familiar. But let me show you guys here, too, if you can see it. Yeah, there's a good amount of play within our steering here. And it's there in the aluminum steering rack that we put on here. You can see it in there. So I guess I don't know if that's in the bell cranks. Actually, one thing that we can do is we can take this top plate off and maybe try to tighten those screws down that go through the bell cranks. I don't know. You know, Chance, it's really funny you mentioned that because that's something that I've asked about for other people, or from other people, and they said the same thing. They said, oh, that's just AE slop. It's like if you're buying a race kit like this, right? And I know that there are other cars in this class that don't necessarily have that, right? So, yeah. So we'll get our tires back on. Anybody want to watch a little bit more footage? Yeah, you guys are probably right. I don't know. Like, I know for 8 scale especially, like, I should expect that. And it's normal, and you kind of want that. But I'm just not familiar enough, man. You know, we'll figure it out. You know, one thing I need to do on the Tekno on the 8 scale is get stickers on that body. I haven't put any stickers on it, but it'll put it all together. I should really get a group photo with the two cars side by side. Once we get stickers on that, take a family picture. I still have a bent shock shaft on the electric buggy, the Tekno, that I need to fix, but I haven't exactly been in a rush, obviously, because it's not going to get run at this point until, oh gosh, what would it be? Maybe April? Maybe April, if we're lucky. Yeah, it is what it is. All right, so to wrap up the car here, I guess, we've run 2 events with this thing. We just put the 2.5 degree front bulkhead on there. I don't know why I'm doing this, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm curious to see how it's going to drive. Jordan says the old Associated and TLR both don't have that slap, and they split rod ends long ways, way too. That's not good. So okay, I thought maybe it was just because something wasn't tight enough, and because we put those aluminum parts on right away or whatever, but maybe not. It's fine. Shan says I'm gonna go for more practice tomorrow. Car was a bit darty. Gonna go softer my front sway bar and try that. Interesting. What's my ride height? Great fucking question, man. I have no idea. I can tell you what it should be if I pull up the setup sheet. But I've tried to measure ride height, and I feel like I'm just not understanding it very well. But I'll show you my shock collars. I've added height. I have added ride height at the recommendation of a couple folks. So the fronts, I've added a fair amount of ride height too, I think. I guess if you look at the collars, I guess I can measure that and tell you what that is. That's not something I've done. I should measure it anyways just to make them even. The ride height in the rear, I don't have much. If you can see, if you'd like, I can measure that as well. And I also should do that anyway. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at for ride height. If that tells you, I mean, I can get my ride height gauge out and tell you, but whoop, there goes my lamp again. Yeah, if you find that helpful, I can absolutely still measure it. These are just things I haven't quite picked up on yet that maybe I don't necessarily understand. My main thing is I want to make sure like my left to right is even, obviously, right? As far as like what the actual front and rear ride height is, I don't know. Maybe the front could be brought up a bit. I don't know what I'm doing. Weights and battery on car, heavy drop. Leave that gauge loose and check under the D block and where the chassis up front is before the curve. Yeah, so those are things I've heard. It's like I kind of have a baseline of how to do it, but I think it helps me to see somebody like with my own eyes in person do it too, rather than just in a video, which I have watched. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the car. Ryan Thompson, Autocross, Minnesota. Ride height is measured from the floor to the underside of the chassis. Yeah, so I understand like where it's measured and how it's measured as far as like you're measuring from here to there. The one time, you know what? Fuck it. Let me get a gauge. Hold on. Okay, so now I'm on a pit mat, so like I understand it's not a solid surface, but for shits and giggles here, let's roll with this. Now, are you guys measuring like one side of the chassis, the other side? I mean, there's not much room there, so I would assume not, right? But so Ryan says he's at about 13 millimeters for his X-ray and his B7. Shant says 13. All right. So when you say you guys are running 13, I assume you mean both front and rear at the same height? Yeah, oval gets yep. I've seen that before. When I watched that Ryan Harris video earlier today, he took that car out of the box, and that's one of the first things he did was he added ride height to the right side and he lowered it on the left. Center under deep. Okay. So actually, I need a battery too. I would have done this stream tomorrow night, but if you know anything about Wisconsin, you know our fish fries are sacred. Fish fries and old fashioned. So I'm going to have a couple of those. Go to a fellow firefighter's house afterwards. He always has a shindig the night before hunting season starts, which is this Saturday. And we're going to have some brewskis, and there's a horse, like a gambling, like horse racing board game, dice game thing we do, which is pretty fun. I need to not get crazy because I'd like to get to the track at 9 a.m. on Saturday. So, all right. So, and I know that when I drop it too, I want to give a little, just a tiniest like roll forward so that it comes back up correctly. So, Before I measure this, I'm going to drop it, and I want you guys to tell me if that looked like it was good enough. All right. And you guys tell me what you think of that, and then I'll measure. Unofficial holiday of first day of ice fishing. No, because you never know when that's going to be. But, all right. So Ryan says good enough. So I've got the gauge loose. So I'll go ahead. I'll come under. And we're going under the D block, I think you said. So if I'm doing that, I'm going to come up. Okay. I don't know. I'm at like 19. But my arms are level. They look mostly level, at least. Look at the front. Like I said, though, I'm on a pit mat, too, so. So I'm going to the chassis before the curve. Now, like I said, though, I'm on a pit mat, too. I know I've said that a couple times, but I just want to reiterate. Yeah, my front is almost dead nuts at 13. Yeah, it's like 13 and a half on the front. Let me look at the rear again. Yeah, I'm at like 18, 19 in the rear. What are my shocks at? Are you referring to my preload collars? Because, they're not very far down. So I don't know how well you can see that, but, or if you're talking about the holes I'm mounted in. So I'm mounted on the bottom, I'm mounted on the very outer hole, and up top I'm in the middle hole. I'm running the shortest eyelets on the bottom. So I don't know, guys. If you say 13, yeah, that makes sense to me. Doesn't seem like that's what it is, but also like looking at the shocks, like there's not much on the collars there. Like they're not down very far. So, yeah, you guys are giving me a good lesson in ride height. Yeah, so we're running it at like 13 and a half in the front, 100% for sure, and we're at like 18 and a half, 19 in the back, which sounds like a lot, but it doesn't look like it's that high. Maybe they're not quite level. Let me remove some height here, and I'll look at it again. What do you guys use for setup boards? What spring am I on? I'm running an Associated yellow spring. We started with the grays, and I was told that this car, almost everybody runs at least a stiffer rear spring, so that's what we're doing. And I think I noticed a difference. You may need internal limiters. Yeah, so like we have it. I think it's the front shocks. I do have internal limiters. The rear doesn't have any internal limiters, but like I said, we are running the shortest eyelet. But I removed some ride height here in the back. Let's see where we're at now. Yeah, it didn't even change. We're still at 18. Like, and I moved the collars almost all the way up. Or maybe not enough, I guess. I don't know. I'll move them even more. One thing I don't recall is which spring cups were running on the bottom. Ryan, yeah, you might be right. However, we didn't do everything with the shocks according to the kit, though. A lot of it we did off of a setup sheet, which, like I've said in my videos, like, don't do that. But I took on the added challenge, and I used a setup sheet that was put together by my buddy Dustin, who's a factory team driver I'm really good friends with. He said, give this a shot. And it definitely complicated the build, for sure. Okay, so now we're at, like... That made a difference, for sure. We're at, like, 15, 14 now. 14 to 15 now. After that. That's moving the collars almost all the way up. I can see, like, 2 or 3 threads above the collar. It's closer. Oh, it's closer. Yeah, what do you guys want from me? I'll roll with that. We'll call it about 13, 14 in the front and about 15 in the rear. I mean, the car definitely looks like it does sit more level, though. I will say that. So, all right. That works. I wish there was a better way to measure toe than just, measuring your rod ends, I guess. No, maybe not. You know what? No. That all makes sense, actually. Disregard anything I just said. I'm pretty sure our camber, I mean, that still looks good. It's like if I look at this, we're at... I believe it's 0. Yeah, I mean, that all looks good. Yeah, 100% Ryan. And I don't think that's certainly going to hurt anything, you know. I may not necessarily... You have the +5 spring cups on. Put the 0 cups on and set the ride height to 13 front and rear. Okay. That's a good note. I mean, we got the rear down quite a bit lower, so that's something that I can definitely do later on. I would also like my friend Tyler to give my car a good once-over on Saturday, too, if he doesn't mind. But yeah, we got it down considerably, you know, even with the spring cups and the eyelets we have on there. I mean, we're almost all the way at the top of the shock body with the collars. Like I said, we're showing like 2 to 3 threads, but I mean, that definitely made a difference. Cups are easy. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I have the cups. I'll have those with me. I can change those out. That's not a problem. Let's watch a little more race footage. You guys, I know we're on a 10 scale kick right now, as I'm going to wipe off this body a little bit more. Do you guys want to watch another 10 scale run from the other event that we did at Dollar Hobbies, or would you rather watch my first 8 scale main? Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say main. I never got to do an 8 scale main. But would you rather watch my very first 8 scale heat or my first main with the 10 scale? What would you guys prefer? And then I think we can do that and kind of start wrapping up here. Seems like a fun way to go out is by watching something else. As I continue to worry about aesthetics. Hey, side note, I really appreciate everybody that's been watching and hanging out, man. A lot of you guys have been here the whole time. That's super rad. I'm just a kid at heart that is trying something new, doing this racing thing, different categories and classes and all that, and it shocks me that people will come up to me at a race and say, hey, I've been doing this for a long time and I like your videos. Like, I don't know why anybody that knows what they're doing watches me. It's very cool, so I appreciate that. All right, we got 1 point for the 10th. 1 point for a 10 scale video to close out. Is it possible to do a poll in here? Is that a thing? Oh my god, yes. It's okay, let's try this. You guys help me out here, because I've never done this. Hang on. Add option. Oh, I see. Okay. So this is fun. As we do more live streams, we're going to figure out more ways to engage and interact and do fun things and yada yada, right? So, all right, here's the poll. Use this. This is what we're using as the poll. Vote on the poll in the chat there. We're going to watch another 8 scale. We got, oh man. Oh, ooh, 10 scales in the lead by a lot. Wow. I can't believe nobody wants to watch 8 scale, which I'm fine with. We're going to watch what you guys want to watch. I also know it's not exactly 8 scale season, though. Give you guys a couple minutes here. Well, not a couple minutes. That's excessive. We'll give you guys another minute here to vote. What do you want to watch, 8 scale or 10 scale? I think it'd be really fun to do other streams like this, where maybe we don't do as much car prep and we do just watching race footage together and doing some tape study. Having like if it's something that like Tyler, for example, you have the capabilities of joining in on if you'd ever be interested. Like we could watch your races, like something like that would be a ton of fun. 90% on 10 scale. We got some 10 scale guys in here, huh? Holy moly. Tyler Brown, 10 scale is best. Ooh, man. Controversial. I can't say I have a strong preference one way or the other right now, but I think a lot of people might disagree. Maybe not. Maybe I'm surprised here. All right. Well, let's queue up, in that case, my first 10 scale event. I'll load up the A main. And there was no B main or C main or whatever. Oh, Jordan says both. Well, we'll see. I think I'm going to do one. We'll wrap it up, and then we'll cover more in the next stream. But like I said, it'd be awesome to have anybody else, any more experienced racers hop in, watch their footage together, get their commentary, get their thoughts. That all sounds awesome. So let me go and load up the first 10 scale vlog I did, and we will watch the A main. So there's no B main, C main. There's an intermediate class, intermediate 17.5. We were really mid-pack in the heats. Sandy, I have 3 10 scale cars. Hell yeah, man, sweet. Yeah, like I said earlier, guys, go to my channel, go to the community tab. I'd love to see you guys post pictures of your cars. That'd be rad. I'd love to see what everybody has. I'd love to show them off in a future stream, look at them together. Feel free to, post a picture of all your cars, give all the specs on them, give us the rundown list and all that. That sounds like a lot of fun. That'd be a really cool stream to do together, or even just a standalone video to put on the channel where we just do readers' rides, as they would call it, like in RC car action. All right. Let me switch over the camera view here. Should have hooked up my Stream Deck. Siri, turn the thermostat off. You can tell my furnace is about to run. And I'm not too far away from it. Screen share. Here we go. All right. We are going to watch the A main from Dollar Hobbies that took place. I think it was the first weekend of the month. So this is my first 10 scale race. All right, here we go. If the video is too loud and I'm not loud enough or anything, just feel free to let me know. Is the video running okay for you guys? It is. Okay, we're good. So we had a good start in this race. This was a really tough layout, or a lot of people said it was a pretty tough layout. Way more technical than what this track will usually do for an off-road layout. Yes, we had a couple bottles pretty early on here. We started. I didn't catch the first second of the video. We started either 4th or 5th in this main. And this is, like I said, this is our very first main doing tent scale, doing carpet, doing two-wheel drive. We'll get a little tied up here. Watch out, watch out. That S section was tricky because it's hard to find that straight line. And that was the last time I needed to get marshaled this entire race, which was just a massive improvement for me. And the results showed. I missed 3rd place in this race by like 2 seconds or half a second or something crazy like that. And honestly, this race was really, whoever got marshaled the least was going to hit podium. Very technical layout, but it was a lot of fun. Gotta stay in the groove, yeah? No, Jordan, it's the same type of carpet as the other track that we're running. I don't know. I don't recall exactly what it is. I know it's the same. Because I double-checked what type of carpet it was. So I made sure I didn't need, like, different tires. The tire setup that we're running on this car is almost the same as what almost anybody else running carpet or similar styles of carpet is. I mean, we're running fuzz bites in the rear and pin swags in the front. I have a few sets of each. Yeah, we're trying to stay out of trouble is all we're trying to do. And similar to the last event we did that we watched earlier, I started to feel comfortable towards the end of the day, which is in the main. I don't know what it is. I wish I could have that level of confidence, obviously through every heat and everything. And maybe I'll feel a little bit better at the toy box now that we've ran that track before. I don't know if it's going to be the same layout, though. I'm curious to see. I gotta see if it is the same layout. I can ask somebody that was there last night racing. Sounds like somebody broke. The quality on these GoPro videos could be a little bit better, but I have a plan for that in the next couple months to hopefully get do an upgraded GoPro, because right now I'm just using a 7 and they're on 13. So we can't do any 4K on this. We can, but then we'd only be at 30 FPS, and I feel like frames is a little bit more important for this. But then if we get an upgraded GoPro, I can use that as a camera for live streams and not use my iPhone, ideally. But man, this Dollar Hobbies facility, if you guys are in the Midwest, you got to check it out once. They have a great hobby shop in there also. And they're a good online retailer too, with a really nice point system or reward system or whatever. These stairs were tricky. If you didn't... It was hard to come off of that bottom step back onto the straightaway, and the rear end would get upset almost every time, so I had to wait for it to settle down before I could really punch it. it wasn't easy to come off of those stairs. And maybe that's a setup thing. I'm not sure. But it was hard for me to figure out how guys were coming off of that so quick. Some of them at least. The more laps you get in the day, the better. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, this was an interesting layout, and this track changes every month because they alternate on-road to off-road every 2 weeks. 2 weeks they run off-road, 2 weeks they run on-road. Right now they're on a big stretch of on-road because they're doing a huge national level race on-road in December. So they're staying on-road for a bit longer because of that. So we're probably not going to be running over there for a bit. So I will tell you guys too. Actually, I'll mention that in a minute here. The other thing I was going to say. So we held on to third in this race almost the entire time, which was just massive for me personally. Like those, now we're getting close to like the results I was seeing at my first 8-scale event, where, you know, I finished second in both of those heats. Now I didn't do that in the heats in this event, but holding on to third through most of the main was a massive step up. And gave me a lot more confidence. I was pretty happy with that. We ended up in fourth, but we held third almost the whole time. And if we made one less mistake, we would have had third. And I would have been so stoked about a podium for my first time out. And amongst 7 cars, you know, and being my first time, like, it's pretty damn good. Yeah. Here I am, just trying to be chill. So, like I said here, I just fell back to fourth, and now I think it's me and this guy in front. No, actually, I think coming up on this lap, then me and another guy, me and him have a small little battle there. Yep, so the guy that's flipped over ahead of me here. Now, this is for third. I could have pushed him a little bit harder, but I was too nervous. I couldn't do it cleanly. Like right there, I could have been more aggressive. Right there, I could have been more aggressive. Now I'm losing my cool, and I'm trying to... I went really straight through the S that time. And now I'm like, you know what? He's got it anyway. That was the race. He got third right there over me. So what's coming up? I'm going to look at some ESC stuff on this car, probably tomorrow. I'm going to start charging things up a little bit, double checking I have everything I need, start packing up so that I can... This is the guy that got me by third. I think it was only half of a second. Where did I post the... Did I not put the footage? Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, I didn't put the times on here. Damn it. Yeah, Dan got me, I think, by less than half a second. So, and honestly, for carpet tracks like this, it's not a lot of time. It's not. When your fastest laps are like 11 seconds, half a second is a long time. So we're going to leave it at this for now. I'm going to look at ESC settings on the car, just double check everything looks good on it. I'm going to start packing everything up for Saturday morning. We're going to get at the toy box in New Richmond, Wisconsin by 9 a.m. So just to recap, we put the 2.5 front bulkhead on this car that I should have had to begin with. We put the 28 tooth pinion on here over the 29, and that should help us out on Saturday, being a fairly small track, where at least last time I was there wasn't really anything for straightaways. So yeah, we're going to get packed up, ready. We're going to charge our transmitter, get the GoPro situated, be ready to just grab our shit and go Saturday morning, assuming I am not hungover. Did you see the off-camber stairs at last week's car? Yeah, that was sick. But guys, it looked like they went through that pretty well. Check out the Midwest Carpet Series. Definitely will do that. If you have any videos or info or anything on that, feel free to post it on my community tab in my channel, because otherwise I might forget. Yeah, we're going to make sure everything's tight and right. So, this Saturday, the Toy Box in Richmond, Wisconsin. Next week, the day after Thanksgiving, we're going to Marshfield, Wisconsin, which is about 2 hours away, and I'm going to do their club race there Friday night. I've never been here or been there. Well, I take that back. I try to do a so okay, let me back up. This facility in Marshfield, Wisconsin, it was the home to Freestyle RC. And if you're into monster trucks, you know Freestyle RC because they have made solid axle monster truck chassis and parts for quite a while. I want to say Freestyle RC was maybe sold or something along those lines. But so they would do monster truck events, and they had a smaller off-road carpet track as well. So I tried to do one monster truck event there. I wasn't like a huge fan of the format they ran. There's nothing wrong with it. I just wanted to do more freestyle and less of the racing brackets. And there was just a lot of racing going on. But with that being said, I don't think they do monster truck events anymore. Maybe. I could be wrong. And the off-road carpet track looks a lot bigger than what it used to be. So anyways, that's what we're going to be doing next week. On Friday, we're going to run their race Friday evening, and the next day we are going back because they have a bigger race event going on. I'm excited to check it out. I'm excited to run on this bigger track, go somewhere new. Gonna visit some family that lives over that way and crash with them Friday night as well. And we're gonna be vlogging it. You know we're going to be vlogging it. We're going to do probably be recording a vlog this weekend at Toy Box, and then obviously next weekend too when we go to Zero RC in Marshfield, Wisconsin. So with that being said, I think this is a good point to wrap it up. We bought some footage. We did some prep. You guys gave me some good information. The only things that I really need to do with the car are probably glue these sidewalls again. And I don't know. I'll have Tyler check out my car if he doesn't mind on Saturday too, and see if there's anything else he recommends that we should do with it. So for now, let's roll with that, guys. Really appreciate you joining in. Appreciate you watching. Had good numbers through this whole stream, which is super, super cool. And I just love that there's people that show up and engage and converse and just hang out. You know, we're a community here, man. That's what it's all about. Spread the love, help each other out, and just do what's good for the hobby, right? That's what it's all for. So, yeah, I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and maybe we'll do another stream next week as we prepare for what's going to be even a bigger race weekend next weekend. So let's plan for that. I'm thinking maybe Wednesday, day before Thanksgiving, or Tuesday. We'll do another stream next week, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe if you're not already. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and can't wait to see anybody that's going to be at the Toy Box this Saturday. And if you're not going to be there, you're missing out. All right, guys. I'm definitely doing this is such a Midwest goodbye. Jesus Christ. All right, guys. I'm going to click the button to stop this here. I'm just not going to stop. All right. Appreciate everybody watching. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. See you next time. Thank you.